Welcome to a new video with the electric trucker. This channel is all about sustainability and decarbonization, so today I'm at the Renault Trucks factory in Bourg-en-Bresse. And we're going to see how they convert diesel to electric trucks, and I get a chance to test drive the Renault E-Tech. And a disclaimer, this video is not paid or sponsored by Renault Trucks. I want to remain independent from the truck manufacturers and also from the charging infrastructure industry. To understand how complex such a conversion is, I had to take a look behind the scenes at the production, because this is where all of Renault's medium and heavy-duty trucks are manufactured, both diesel-powered and battery electric. And this Renault E-Tech is the largest battery electric truck that Renault has, but in production, diesel and electric trucks all come off the same production line to remain flexible, and because it is difficult to predict how many e-trucks will be ordered. All frame components and axles are assembled in the same way, and then the electric ones go to a separate line. But in the first production step, the components are mounted upside down, because the first thing you mount on them are the axles, and it is simply much more ergonomic if you just put them on from above and later turn the whole chassis around. But soon they will use e-axles for the electric trucks, and e-axles are significantly heavier than a normal axle, and you can't just turn it around like before. This means they already have to plan how to adjust the production line for these new components. Every year, they can only adjust production during the 4-week summer break without stopping regular production, which highlights why the industry needs planning security and guidance regarding regulations and changes in law. Changes in production are long-lasting and can't be adjusted on the fly. This Renault E-Tech has a 540 kilowatt-hour battery, but with only 370 kilowatt-hours usable, it is not suitable for long-distance transportation. I'm going to hop in and take it for a spin. Unfortunately, we don't have this truck in the fleet at Nano Janssen, so it's very important that I at least show it to you. We have a 14-meter trailer on the back, and we weigh a total of 32 tons. We are going to drive a little on the highway and country roads. The consumption is now at 0.97 kilowatt-hours per kilometer. The interior is well done, and it is also the first truck that I drove, which has a keyless system, and it has lots of USB-C sockets and a wireless charging pad for your phone. There is a digital display with all kinds of settings, a central navigation system, and the air conditioning doesn't have its own display. It only appears on the display when you change the temperature. The Volvos have an integrated TomTom navigation system, and Renault has Cygic installed. Cygic is the second big player for truck navigation systems. The truck also has a predictive driving system, which means that it not only has adaptive cruise control, but also GPS and topography data to drive slower uphill and let the truck roll downhill. It does not actively steer, but it does have a lane departure warning system. When you finish changing lanes, the indicator goes off automatically, and you have this lever for recuperation. At the top it rolls. Level 1 is light recuperation, and level 2 is complete one-pedal driving. And if you tap the lever down again, it has maximum recuperation. It has a manual gearbox, so there are also gear changes here and there that make it a bit clunky, but that's simply due to the concept. You can also see the consumption live, but not in kilowatts, but in kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which makes it a bit impractical. What I like most is this trailer at the back. It's so short, you can get anywhere, and there's also a steering axle at the back, which means you're incredibly maneuverable on the road. I've never driven such a small trailer before. The navigation system also shows charging stations along the route, but not filtered according to truck suitability, and also including 400-volt stations. So it's like a standard implementation for cars, which makes no sense here, but that's why we have our eTrucker app. Here in Charge Management, you can set the charging power, with the maximum being 250 kilowatts, and you can limit the SOC to optimize charging. These are functions that every e-truck should have. Consumption is super important for a vehicle like this, and I'm at 1.05 kilowatt hours per kilometer. The total weight was 32 tons. We drove on the freeway and country roads with a bit of rain, and we took a lot of roundabouts. Of course, this data isn't representative of daily use, as I can't test it all day or for several weeks, but for this test drive, it's a good value. I'm now in the Customer Adaptation Center, And this is where new trucks are customized for customers. For example, adding hydraulic tanks, wrapping, or even converting this E-Tech C into a suction and flushing truck. And this E-Tech C has 5 axles and will be a battery-powered concrete mixer. And because space was needed for the additional lift axle, the battery packs had to be installed behind the cab. But older trucks are also being refurbished here. This is a used 4x2 diesel truck for long-distance transport, but on the used truck market, many companies are actually looking for other vehicles. So this standard long-distance truck is converted into a construction truck. It will get raised, get a different suspension, different tires, a hydraulic system, and a reinforced front apron. And now, I'm where diesel trucks are being converted into battery electric trucks. Pleasure to meet you, Evi.
Pleasure to meet you, Tobias.
Perfect. You are from Neo Trucks.
Yes.
And maybe you can give a little bit of context. It's not directly related to Renault, but...
It's not directed to Renault. Neo Trucks is a small startup who set up in 2020. And we partnership with Renault, industrial partnership, strong partnership, to buy back some T model of Renault with their help and their channel. And from that, we are modifying those vehicles to be used as yard trucks on private park.
So first things first, we have one of those trucks behind us. So that is the original model, like
Yes.
A T model, which wasn't diesel originally.
It was diesel. It has been on the road for 4 or 5 years. Has done something like 400,000 kilometers. And since then, it came back here to the manufacturer. It has been initially manufactured 4 years ago. And then with Renault, we are...
Here in Bourg-en-Bresse, that's cool. It's coming back to its origin.
Yes, coming back. That's circular economy, you know? And so it's dismantled by Renault. So all the thermic parts, engine, tank, fuel tank.
Nothing there anymore, yeah?
There's nothing more in there.
But it's not, some parts are still in there, this is still in the process of getting dismantled, yeah.
Yes, and all these parts, because of that strong partnership we've got with Renault Trucks, they are used by Renault Trucks to be part and distributed into their second-hand spare parts channel all over Europe. So nothing is loose, everything is rebuilt, or retrofit, or reused.
As a spare part, yeah.
As a spare part.
So we have the engine, we have the transmission,
Yeah.
but the axles are the same?
The axles are the same.
They get checked if it's
Oh, everything is checked. Yeah. What we get from Renault is like pretty new vehicle, nearly. And every used part we are too much worn, they are changed. So what we've got here is that the type of vehicles we are getting back from Renault is like pretty new one, and everything is made up to.
And those were leased out, or do they buy them back, or is it like the end of the leasing contract?
Yes,
or?
end of the leasing contract usually. So we are buying back those vehicles from the end of the leasing. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So you dismantle it. You have a lot of parts you get out of the truck, and then the next stage is getting some electrical components in there.
The next stage is to modify the vehicle to fit with its final destination and its final usage, which is to be a yard truck, that is a vehicle that is moving trailers on industrial sites or logistic centers. And for this, we've modified the back of the vehicles, as you can see.
So it's really important for the context. So that is not a road legal truck. It's not made for long haul trucking or for the same use case this was built for.
Exactly. So
it's for different use cases.
Yes, the speed is limited to 25. There no plate, no registration. So you need to have it on the road, not on the road.
So maybe that stick is not necessary anymore.
There's still dead angle, even in private park. You know, so it's always useful. So it looks like an ordinary truck, but it's limited, it's fully electric, it's limited to 25 kilometers. You don't need to have a driving license or any kind of diploma, or we are providing obviously a little training of a day to the operator to know the difference they were using thermic vehicles before and then how it works with electric vehicle. But you don't need any specific diploma or knowledge to drive that vehicle. So what's different finally when we got this? It's in terms of body.
Modified, yeah.
In terms of body, we've got a back door because the operator have to get out of the vehicle something like 60 times, 100 times a day. So it cannot go through the ordinary door and the ladder. For question of security and safety of the driver, it's more helpful to have a back door. Then it can use the platform, it can use the stairs
on the left side and on the right side.
On both sides. And using that it can put the hair very easily using that platform. And what you are seeing here is that the fifth wheel is on two hydraulic.
They can get really high up.
Really high up.
To move the trailers,
meaning that you can like lift up the trailer at a height that is higher than the plot itself.
Yeah.
And you did not have to retract the plots of the trailer.
So it's way faster. Yeah,
very fast. And we've been to.
And you mentioned the use case. Like, how many trailers on average do you change places?
I can give you two figures using that vehicles compared to what's available in terms of thermic vehicles today. We've been on a site. They've been moving 125 trailers a day on 24 hours. Okay. Because you are on a private site, so you can charge anytime you've got 15 minutes or 20 minutes. You can charge a little bit and get back 10 kilowatt. And with 10 kilowatt, you can operate the vehicle for 1 hour, doing something like 10 trailers or stuff. Okay, so you don't need much of battery. That's a difference as well.
So where are the batteries? Like, you don't use the same batteries as the E-Tech ones? You have your own ones?
We have our own ones. It's specific to Neotrax. It's conceived by battery packs, and you can see there's the battery out there.
Oh, okay, under the cap, yeah.
So they are using the former place of the thermic engine and the gearbox. So we've got plenty of space here. And as you see, it's different pack. It's little pack of 12 kilowatt we can add in series. So depending on the demand and the use case we are facing, we can provide a vehicle with 60 kilowatt to 120. That is 6 battery to 10 battery pack.
And that's the maximum, 120 kilowatt hour?
That's the maximum because of the size of the battery pack. And it takes, when you've got 10, it takes all the space of the former gearbox and engine.
Ah, okay. So it's also mounted on the cap, but also here between the frame.
But you don't need more than 120 because as you're on a private park, you can charge.
Where do you charge it?
Here.
Okay, on the right side, here.
You got two solutions to charge it. Whether you've got a charging solution that is a charging station, and the vehicle can take up to 80 kilowatt per hour on the fast charging. Okay. And that is this plug, this one.
Standard one CCS.
And you can use only this one, and you can plug it directly to the grid with no charging facilities. Okay. Because we've got an onboard charger.
Okay.
Of 22 kilo.
22 kilowatts.
Meaning that if you don't have anything on your site, or meaning if that you are using this truck on a site which is equipped with a station, charging station, but at a time, for business question, you need to move it to another site, and this site is not equipped with a charging station, you can still use the vehicle because you just need one plug, and you'll be using the onboard charger of the vehicles, and you'll still be charging 22 kilo per hour.
Yeah, makes sense, yeah.
So that's be enough.
The engine, there's no transmission anymore, it's just a one
converter.
gear? Okay.
And the engine is there. So the engine power is something like 130. So it's not very powerful. It needs only large amount of torque to drag the trailer. But as the speed is limited to 25, as the range hasn't to be very long haul neither.
It's just purpose built for
this use case. It's just purpose. I mean, the average mileage of a vehicle like this, it's like between 10 and 15 kilometers per day.
Ah, okay. Okay. That's really not much.
Very short. Yeah, not very much. Very short. But during those 15 kilometers, they've been moving 100 trailers from a couple of meters or 100 meters each.
Yeah. So let's have a look inside. So
let's have a look inside.
The stairs here, we can walk in. And there you also modified the cabin.
Yes.
So how old is this truck roughly in years?
4 years.
4 years.
4 years. So all the cabin is the same. So the benefit you have as an operator is that you are benefiting for all the comfort and the ergonomy from a vehicle which has been made for a long journey on the road.
Yeah.
So it's not anymore, like a machine. It's a truck. So you've got like air suspension on seats, total air suspension on the cabin. When you are spending, 8 hours as an operator on a yard truck, it's same like a driver on the road. You're happy after 8 hours in your truck to have air suspension of the cabin and suspension. Otherwise, it's very similar. What is different is that you've got these tablets that give you the power, that give you the energy you're consuming, the distance you've made. So a number of KPIs specific to the job you've made.
Yeah. So we see the battery capacity.
Yes, battery capacity, the battery state of charge of the battery. So this is specific and specifically developed by Neo Trucks. So from the initial Renault T trucks, you've got only the
like there has been no changes in the interface here?
No change in the interface. The only thing you are using is that we are using the former gas manometer to use it for the air. The air
okay. So you change the purpose of this one.
Change the purpose of it.
And what do we have here?
And what we have here is that it's something that you can see there, the fifth wheel, if I'm pressing here.
Oh, it's really fast.
So I can lift up the fifth wheel up to 80 centimeters. That's allow you to retract the plot of the trailer, and you can drive the trailer with the plot in down. And when you are descending, it's descending slower because usually it's descending faster because you've got weight on it.
Yeah. Makes sense, yeah. And what else do we have here? Which kind of buttons?
It's opening the hook of the fifth wheel. So opening on the hood and closing the hook.
Okay, so you don't need to do it manually?
No, you don't need to do it manually. And it helps us also to have some monitoring KPIs of the operation. So from this, we can get up from the can of the vehicle the number of trailer the operator has been moving every day. So you don't have to count. We know exactly from our IoT and from our telematics how many vehicles, how many trailers he's been moving, the distance, the pulse he's been taking on a site. We've got a little map, the consumption, average consumption, and we've got 120 KPIs of the operation. So you can, from using this also, if you are a site manager, optimize your flows because you've got those KPIs to manage the operation.
Okay, perfect. The chassis and even the gear selector is taken from the combustion engine. You go to gear 1 and then it does the rest because it only has one gear. On the display we can see the power output, the top speed, and live data, and it also has recuperation, but no one pedal driving. Here, to the left?
Yes.
You also have a trailer here we could take with us?
No, we haven't.
Here's the test track.
Yes.
Okay.
But you can unload.
Here?
Yes, go.
Nice. Oh, there's a truck behind us. Now we're racing.
Yes. But only 25.
Only 25.
Okay, so.
We don't have a trailer with us right now, but we are under 20 kilowatts of consumption, which is nothing at all. For this kind of work, you really don't need a big engine. If you think about the fact that brand new trucks are being used for such work, it feels almost like a waste. It makes a lot more sense to repurpose such old trucks. The truck doesn't show remaining range, but just the battery percentage. But they told me that they have customers who work with it for 2 days before charging it. Now we can take a look under the hood. The drive shaft has been thrown out, the electric motor has been installed down here, and here you have the battery packs. One has 12 kilowatt hours, and there are 9 installed. 6 on top and 3 underneath. And the ladder frame is perfectly suited for it. You can order different battery capacities depending on how much range you need. They also enlarged the air pressure tanks, which is important when hooking and unhooking trailers constantly. That's why the batteries are all in the front. I think it's really clever to refurbish the trucks for private roads, where you don't need road approval, and for a use case where you don't need a new truck. This truck with the maximum battery configuration actually costs about 200,000 euros. But the funny thing is that it is 25% cheaper than other electric vehicles used for the same purpose. There is a high demand for long-distance trucks, and therefore also a streamlined and efficient production. But niche trucks like this one are needed in much smaller quantities. And this means that a lot more manual work is required, which increases the price. I'm curious to see the first electric trucks getting refurbished this way in a few years, because the batteries can be easily reused or upcycled. But as things stand today, this is the important first step. Greetings from France, and see you in the next video. Ciao.